Hi, this is Bridget with Life on Spectrum, and for this episode we're going to talk about SLP. Yes, it's another acronym, but SLP stands for Speech Language Pathology, and it's probably one of the most important services that your child on the spectrum can or should receive. And I will say this at the beginning. Your student should be receiving SLP services until the day that they graduate. And sometimes, in some cases, it should continue afterwards, depending on the severity of your student's social needs. Speech and language pathology is not just about how to speak anymore. Yes, it's important to say your R's correctly and your TH's and your L's, but that's not all speech does anymore. They also help with communication boards. Communication boards is another way of communication if your son or daughter is nonverbal. It's using pictures and sometimes computers and things like that. We talked about this during the scheduling section of an episode, but a speech and language pathology can actually help you create these, and it's a communication board, so there is a way of communicating. The other thing they actually teach too is actually sign language. And sign language, along with verbalization and the picture boards or communication boards, can actually give your student 3 different ways of communicating to you and the people at school. Speech and language pathology also deals with social pragmatics. And what that basically means is how we have a conversation, that you look at each other's eyes, that you actually can start a conversation about almost any topic, but you should listen and then correspond back. That's all the common or typical things that we do without thinking, but it's very difficult for our students on the autism spectrum. So speech and language pathology is not just your R's and TH's anymore. It has a wide variety of things that they can work on. Also, in high school, there are times that speech and language pathologists will actually start going into the classroom and watching your student, so then they can see how they're communicating with not only peers but also teachers, so then they can bring it back and sometimes videotape them and say, what did you do wrong, what did you do right, and how can we change it? So speech and language pathology is totally different now, and it's probably the most key thing I can think of for a special service for your student to have. So keep that in mind when you're going to your IEP. You can always ask for an evaluation for speech and language. Well, that's it for Bridget with Life on Spectrum. Thanks for watching that episode, and make sure you come back and join us again for upcoming videos. They'll be uploaded almost on a daily basis. Also, if you really enjoyed us, like us below, or even leave a comment for us to respond back to. And if for all of you that are really involved in the Life on Spectrum, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you. We hope that this is worthwhile for you, and we'll see you next time on Life on Spectrum.